was Saturn V. It's the rocket that took us to the moon. Until there were 13, no, not 13. There were 6 missions, and it has 3 stages. A big first stage with 5 J1 engines, and then a second stage with 5 F2 engines, and then a third stage with 1 F2 engine. And then up here is the LEM, which is the lunar landing module, and that lands on the moon, which is simulated here. And then on top is the service module and the command module, where the actual astronauts are. So when this launches, it comes complete like this, and in total it stood, I think, 100 meters tall. And at first separation, this is just before orbit. This separates from the back. And this falls back into the ocean and is not recovered. And the escape module is gone from then. So this comes back as here. So this was basically an escape module in case anything wrong went in the launch, they could escape and land safely in the ocean. So this goes on into Earth orbit. Please stay back there. So this goes on into Earth orbit, and it stays there. And they do some final checks before they depart for the moon. So then the second stage detaches, and this stays in orbit.
Okay.
So all the ones that have been launched, these are still in orbit today.
Sorry, yeah.
And then this is what gets you to the moon. So
What's
this
orbit?
orbit is like it's like
It's an
Around
imaginary.
the Earth. Around the Earth.
yeah, around here. So you go around the Earth without falling, because
Orbit.
when you go that fast, when Earth's gravity pulls you down, you go up to the side, so you actually just stay there.
So it goes like.
So it's sort of like a parking area in space. So this brings you to the moon, and right after they've actually reached the moon, this separates,
Yep.
so that you can reveal the lunar module.
Go away.
So this is what landed on the moon actually.
Rufus, show it on.
Uh-huh.
This is what landed on the moon.
I didn't see it.
So these are fairings, just there for
What is fairing?
It's basically an exterior metal piece that will keep aerodynamics in check. So these will just fall and crash into the moon, and this is also left. So this basically, it becomes like this. This is just ahead of the lunar landing module, and this comes forward, turns around, and docks with the lunar module. So this goes to the moon, and it goes into moon orbit. So it stays around the moon, and it's like parked there. Then 2 of the astronauts, there's 3 in total, 2 of the astronauts transfer from the command module to the lunar lander module, and then this detaches. This stays in orbit with a 3rd person, just to check everything, while this comes and lands. This is like simulated moon, so you can see the American flag, 2 astronauts. So this comes down,
Okay.
lands on the moon, and yeah. So, the astronauts would come out, explore the moon, take some moon rocks, photos, and plant the American flag. And once they're done, this whole landing section is left, and they all are still staying on the moon right now. And this basically just blasts once with the 2 astronauts, and it comes back up into moon orbit, where it docks with the command and service module.
Which command?
This is the command module. So this is where the 3rd astronaut is. So then 2 astronauts transfer in here, and then this is left behind, and it falls back into the moon. And so basically it powers its engine so that it can get back to the Earth.
What's parachute changes?
What?
Parachute changes.
Burnt it, what?
Jari Maria, right?
So
Jari Maria.
once it switches on its engines and it has a trajectory to Earth, this separates again, and this crashes into the Earth. And this is what you're left with, and this is what actually brings you back to the Earth.
This is where the 3
Astronauts are,
in.
yeah.
Okay.
And when they land, so they have parachutes, of course, but that's not enough to land successfully. So they land in the ocean, so that splashes down, and it lands here, and then has helicopters come and take them.
Uh-huh.
Very good.